She built a legal practice by turning short form content into consults, DMs into paying clients, and social media into her primary growth engine. With tens of thousands of followers across all social media platforms, Taylor M. Tiemann has cracked how legal education converts for online first entrepreneurs. Taylor is the founder of LegalMega Law PC, a virtual Los Angeles based firm serving small business owners nationwide. She created the LegalMega membership, a subscription legal model covering trademarks, contracts, copyright, podcasts, and business formation designed to prevent problems, not clean them up later. With a background in civil litigation and consumer protection, Taylor built her firm around making the law clear, accessible, and usable, namely to entrepreneurs. She also runs the Legal Mega Library, a practical resource hub for founders who want to move fast without getting burned as they grow their businesses. Today, we're talking about best practices in her social media strategy. Thanks for hopping on today, Taylor.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm just curious, how long have you been in practice with your own shop?
Yeah, I'm licensed for almost 10 years, but my practice has been open for a little over 6 years now, so
Cool.
good check.
And in the last 6 years, like, when you started it 6 years ago, like, what is that, like, 2019, were you intentional about your social media, as a means of generating revenue?
Yeah, I saw that the type of clients we wanted to work with were all online. They were using Instagram back when Instagram was, like, the place to be, um, and just saw that we should definitely be there if we wanted to reach those people.
Do you find Instagram as your primary channel for growth?
Growth? Eh. No, not so much anymore. It used to be like sole, growth channel. Threads is pretty great for growth right now. TikTok is okay. I don't love TikTok though, but we get most of our referrals and people that find us are through Instagram still.
Let's talk about those. So you prefer Threads. Threads, for those not too familiar, it's more of like uh, an alternative to X or Twitter. It's more text-based, like thread-based, content versus TikTok or Reels, which require us to film our own content. What is it about Threads that you like more than the video-based stuff?
Uh, their algorithm is just great. Like you can literally say like, "Hi, I'm Taylor. I'm a lawyer," and it'll put you in front of hundreds of people that just like start following you if you're putting out good content. And also, I can just like type really quick and send stuff out. I have a new-ish baby, so I can't just be filming all the time. So I can just like thread really quickly and post.
And what have you noticed about your business? Like, is there anything that you've been able to calculate, whether it's revenue or clients per month or consults that you're taking, as a result of the work that you're doing on social media?
Yeah, I mean, we're getting like the number of leads we're getting specifically from threads is probably double what we're getting from TikTok, and we've had a TikTok for a while, and we get maybe, like, 1 per month on TikTok, so Threads is definitely gaining traction. We still get most of people from actual, like, Instagram, but Threads is catching up quickly, and we don't have to spend any, like, ad dollars there, which is nice.
Do you think it's the subscription nature of your model that attracts people to your offer, or do you think it's something else in what you're doing with your online strategy?
I think it's the education. I think business owners are there. We see a lot of them online. That's how business owners are promoting on socials, but they don't know the legal protections they need to put in place. And so I figured out once you started educating them, then they started following to learn. And then once they're ready to pull the trigger to hire you, then they'll do it. But they need to be following us for at least a little bit if they're not ready to pay yet.
That's a great point, because, we work with a lot of, like, contingency-based attorneys, employment law, PI, um, and naturally, it's so competitive, it's cash flow restrictive, there's a lot of constraints there. They need clients, like, on the regular, you know? Whereas what you're doing is you're priming an audience, until they're ready to go. And I think that there's a lot to be learned from that. How'd you learn about that model where it's not about getting those quick hits, it's about playing the long game, being patient and building up and priming up your audience? Where did you get that knowledge from?
I worked with 2, attorney, like, business coaches immediately when I started just to, like, figure out how to even run a firm on the back end, and they pointed out that with transactional, it's very you need to build the relationship long term. So luckily, they pointed that out for me early, and then I obviously, like, saw it in practice that people are not always immediately ready to hire. We get the occasional, like, "Hey, I need a contract now. I just found you. Like, what can you quote us something?" But we've had a lot of clients that have worked with us after following us for long periods of time.
Like, what were, like, the folks that you were working with before when they were building up the relationships, presumably without social media? What were they doing that you've now replaced as a result, rather with social media?
Either nothing or they're working with, like, LegalZoom, just to get, like, basics set up, or they're doing stuff all on their own. So you're typically the first actual attorney that they're working with and ready to hire.
Got it, got it. So, yeah, so you're basically doing this at scale without a third party. And what is the typical feedback you're getting whenever you're posting, especially the education content? What is the audience reacting to, and what are their reactions?
Depends on how aggressive the posts are. Sometimes I'll just, like, go off the cuff and say stuff that it's, like, really hard hitting, and people are like, "Oh, I need that. Thanks for reminding me," in my face. Sometimes with, like, long form educational content, people, like, will it'll pique their interest, and then they'll be like, "Oh, is that something I need?" Some people really need to be, like, put in their place of, "I need to do this," and sometimes that means posting about, like, horror stories, which I don't love to do, but when we do that, we see a jump too, and people being like, "Alright, I need to get you guys hired."
I'm curious, like, what's, like, an example of a horror story that got a lot of reaction?
Like classic, somebody didn't file a trademark in time, and now we're having to work around, can they even get the name? Can they still use their business name? Do they have to rebrand? Which you have to really show people that they could lose a lot of money for the type of work that we do. Unfortunately, I don't love marketing like that, but it works.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, like, okay to have, like, a healthy amount of, like, fear-based marketing, right? Because the fear is real, right? I mean, I'm a business owner. I like to know about the worst case scenarios too, so I think people appreciate that. At least I think at least I would say that I do for sure. Uh, and so was there a particular post, like a landmark post where you posted something and you said, "Oh shit, this really can carry some weight in the long term."
Before we continue, a quick note and the only break you'll hear in today's episode. Most attorneys know they should be reaching Hispanic clients, but very few do it well. That's where we come in. At Abogados Now, we build authentic Spanish language campaigns that actually get you more cases and grow your practice. So, if you're looking for a new way to get more clients, book a call with our team today at abogadosnow.com. Now, let's get back to the episode.
The I mean, just kinda generally, like, we had a client that we had to talk to, and we just had to tell them, like, "You need to rebrand." Like, they first time got on a call with us, I have to have that conversation with them. Usually, those are the ones that we see people, like, booking consultations after because they get it or like, "Oh, I don't want that to happen to me." Yeah, I mean, I see the pros and cons, but it works, so
And so what's your setup right now? Is it just you doing all the social media, or do you have, like, some assistance with third parties or even employees?
yeah, I do it all. I just really love it. If I didn't love it, I definitely would hire out at this point. We've tested different models of like social media manager, having our VA like post some things. I personally really like it. And with AI now, I can just schedule a ton of stuff. Um, so I'm doing all of it for the most part still.
Oh, well, what's your workflow like, if you don't mind us, kind of getting a peek inside how
Yeah.
your day-to-day with the social media?
When it's organized at the beginning of the month, I'll take a look at like our goals, what type of clients we want to bring on. I will sit with ChatGPT and plan out content and then flesh it out and then put it in my voice. So I ideally have posts planned at the beginning of the month. They're not always ready to go, but I'll weekly make sure that they're going out. And then sometimes I'm just off the cuff, just like shooting things out when I see like pop culture, any important stuff happening, anything with clients, like issues that come up. And when I'm seeing like routine themes that clients are bringing us, I will post about that too. Cause I feel like if they're worried about it, then there's other people worried about it too.
So, like, your subscription kinda covers all the things that most entrepreneurs need. It's like formation, documentation with trademarks, IP, things of that nature. Um, is there a slice of one of those areas that perform better online than any others?
Typically, trademarks do pretty well. Business owners love like the exciting part of branding and like getting their business started and getting like their website set up, like getting their branding finalized.
Yeah.
Usually people are more willing to like talk about that and engage on those topics. Contracts are where people are like, "Oh, I don't have that. I need to do that." So that's a little bit like where the fear stuff comes in. But trademarks do really well.
That's great. And so, like, what does the strategy look like moving forward? You built, at least on TikTok, I mean, rather on Instagram, I saw almost 30,000 followers there. Combined, it looks like somewhere in around 40, 50,000 followers. Is that accurate, more or less? Like, what do you hope to do with that audience, and with your content strategy in the next year? Have you put thought into like what that looks like next year?
Good question. I mean, I have things planned that I would love to do. Like at the beginning of the month, I set intentions to like set stuff out and finish them. With a newer baby, I don't always get it finished, but I'm with AI help. I'm really trying to like make sure that we have stuff as much things scheduled in advance as possible. I don't want to be in the moment, like posting and sending things out as much. I spend a lot of time on it, honestly, but I just really like it. I know some attorneys don't like it, and I always tell them, like, you need to hire somebody then, because if you don't like it, it's not going to be fun. You're not going to find like joy in the little weird stuff, like what posts do well. But I really like it.
That's so true, like, that's a very common thing when we talk to attorneys about their social media strategy. They generally have some degree of enthusiasm for it, and the areas that they don't, they outsource. And if there's no enthusiasm for any of it, you still have to outsource it because you're gonna be a dinosaur and you're dead. If you don't exist on social media, you may as well not exist at all. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. I work with some attorneys who like want to kind of up their social and they don't like it. And I'm like, look, if you even are like referral based and you don't get anybody from socials or you think you need to have some sort of base there because that's where people check. It's like your website. They go to your website and they go to your socials. They go to your socials to like see what you're like and your vibe if you have videos of yourself. So if you want them to basically be ready to work with you based on your personality. You should have something out there. It doesn't mean you have to be pumping out content 24/7, but if you don't have anything up, like I think about how I hire service providers and if they don't have a social media, I'm like, "Oh, I don't know what this person's like or like how are they going to understand what I need?"
So true. So true. Yeah, it just validates that they exist, they're not fly by night. And if we're doing that with our vendors, why wouldn't our potential clients be doing that for our own law firms, right? So it's a great point. Let's talk about your model a little bit. I'm curious to how you got to the point where you said it's kind of an all-in fee and it's a membership fee. Can you talk us through your model?
Yeah. The idea of like not knowing what was coming in monthly really made me nervous as a business owner. I mean, there's still like I still can't tell you exactly what numbers are going to come in. We have half of our revenues about membership based, so we have an idea of what's coming in on that side, but like I have no idea what's coming in on one-off projects. That still makes me nervous, but kind of understanding base level what's coming in, what can cover expenses has been nice. There's attorneys that I have worked with. Kim Bennett specifically is another lawyer who has done this subscription model for a very long time. And she coaches attorneys on how to do that. Counsel for Creators is also a friend of mine, and he's been doing this model for a long time. So, getting to know other attorneys that have this model and have done it very well has been really helpful. And it's helpful for me to know, like, at least if I'm not promoting really heavy for 3 months, like, we at least have this recurring revenue with clients.
Got it. And with this model, I am curious if you've really narrowed in on, let's call it trademark or IP as a result of what the audience is asking for online. Has that influenced much of like the work that you're actually doing?
Um, I would say I mean, I kind of, like, shift over like, I really love trademark work. I love contract work and trademark work, but bringing on project-based contracts are just a lot more time and energy for us. It's not as much ROI as much as I love the contract. So the subscription helps with having clients that we already kind of know, and it's not as much onboarding with their contract review. Trademark, like solo one-off projects, those are pretty easy for us to bring on and go through. So I kind of tend to market a little bit more heavy on the trademark side just because I also really like to do those, and they're fun. Like, the business owners are excited. They just, like, got their branding done. They're usually not in a problem situation of, like, somebody screwing me over. So that is kind of like a lighter, vibe. But yeah, I kinda market a little heavier towards this trademark side.
As a result of, like, the social media client acquisition, were there any clients that took you by surprise?
Like, any that came on board and we were, like, surprised by them?
Yeah, and whether that means, like, you couldn't believe that you got a certain class of client or, something that you didn't know was possible as a result of the social media acquisition.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've had opportunities to work with, like, bigger brands to do just, like, workshops and educational. We'll have some clients that come through, like, my DMs, and I'm like, "Did you mean to message us?" Like, they're, like, either pretty well-known influencers, or they're just, like, larger companies that you would think would already have a lawyer on board, and they don't, and they're, like, asking for help, which I'm always surprised when, like, larger companies don't have, lawyers on the back end, but it's cool. Like, we had somebody come through, like, a couple weeks ago that needed something with, like, a Netflix special. I was like, "How did you even find us?" They're like, "We found you through Instagram," which is cool.
Yeah, I think that's great because I think that it validates the thing that most attorneys are suspect of, that the market's not there, that the market, especially in B2B, that they're just hanging out all day on LinkedIn, and it's not the truth. It's like, there's like 80% of the living population is on Meta. They'll anyone that you're working with is probably hanging around on reels or stories throughout the day. Like, why are we pretending that this world doesn't exist? And I think what you're speaking to validates that even the Fortune hundreds are a possible client if you're the one actually putting out the good authoritative education content, playing the long game.
Yeah.
Uh, like, do you see your peers, your attorney peers, adopting the same model, or do you find that they struggle with the kind of discipline, and kind of the attention to detail it requires to put together good content?
Yeah. I mean, we all the attorneys online, not all of us, but, like, we kind of, like, know each other and have seen each other, like, in person or have done panels with each other, so I feel like I do have a good chunk of attorney friends who are very active on social just because we either see each other and then meet in person, or we just, like, cross paths, so they obviously do a good job, but I think the attorneys that, either contact us or, like, I meet in person and they're like, "How do you do all the videos?" And I'm just like, "I either plan it." I don't love it. I, like, plan it out. And I mean, I don't love video, but I love socials. So, like, it's I think also reminding people that you don't always have to love every single aspect of it. It's just like any other form of marketing. Like, if you aren't good at, like, Google SEO, like, hire somebody to do that. There are as the attorneys that I know, they're usually kind of on, like, the younger side. They are ready to, like, try social, but even undertaking, like, getting an account, trying to put content out is very time consuming. So I think they're just very inundated with, like, "How do I actually do this?"
Is your goal to ultimately make social the primary source of driving new clientele and never have to invest in, like, Google Ads or any kind of premium advertising?
Yeah, we don't invest in Google Ads, I don't think. My husband does, like, my Google stuff. I've never invested in Google Ads. We've only done, like, Meta, Facebook, Instagram ads, like, one-off stuff whenever I feel like it. I don't have, like, a good, like, I don't know, campaign calendar to set ad money out. It's just, like, when we do sales and stuff. But yeah, I mean, that was initially I was probably, like, a year and a half of no ad dollars being spent and just, like, putting content out. Instagram no longer, I feel like, pushes your content enough for people to see it and wanna follow, so but Threads I think does a really good job of that. So we're really like I'm on there all the time. I find that the algorithm is amazing over there for people just to be following and getting educated. People that enjoy TikTok, that their videos do well. They say the same thing about over there that the algorithms are pretty good. Uh, so it's kind of like chasing more for the algorithms being nice to you.
Yeah, I'm curious if there's any social media channels that you avoid or social media strategies that haven't worked for you in general.
Um, I mean, I feel like when there's trends and stuff that go around, like, I like to try them too. I waste, like, so much time. Like, I just did a whole post the other day about we did our own, like, Spotify Wrapped, and, like, it doesn't do well at all, but I spent, like, an hour putting it together. Stuff like that, I just like to be creative. But I think it's, like, focusing on if you already have a bunch of content going out, like, you can be creative if you want to and test things out, but for the attorneys that have, like, either nothing or they don't have a lot of content going out. You do have to be a little bit more strategic if you wanna see a return earlier than later. I also think that's where, like, some people get caught up as they see all these trends happening, and if you just need to just have consistent content going out, to start with, and then you have to just, like, test and see what does okay.
Totally. I'm curious, how many of your clients are actually attorneys?
We on the law firm side, we have, like, 3 to 4, like, a handful of them, but I also just by virtue of the fact attorneys have been asking me and, like, messaging me, I'm like, "How do you do social media?" We do some consulting on the side with attorneys with, like, mainly marketing, but just, like, business stuff too. And the business consulting has been mostly attorneys, so we've had, like, 90% of them have been attorneys.
That's amazing. And if any attorneys need your help in social media consulting or formations or contracts, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Yeah, probably our email funnels, like, website funnels, or socials. You're always welcome to message me on socials. I check them a little less frequently than I used to, messages, but I'll go through and I check them. It's me, to make sure if anybody needs help. So, like, DM or just through the website, we have consults available, or we have, a lot of intake forms for different projects people need.
Love it. So we'll put all that in the description links and the show links on the Abogados Now webpage. Thank you so much, Taylor, for shining light on your social media strategy. It's one of one of the few examples that we've seen. It's like really disciplined. It's very focused, and it's clearly showing in the numbers, both online and in your actual business. So, my biggest takeaway from this is that you're playing the long game, which I wish more attorneys understood that if you plant the seeds and you build the audience, they will come to you as long as you're in front of them all the time. So thanks for sharing that with Taylor and to our team that put together another great episode. Thanks so much. And to everyone else who watched, we'll see you next time. Thank you.